Good afternoon, Coolest Coast. It's time for Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. This is Kristin Odell. I'm Tina Prigge. So happy to see you at this noon hour on a Wednesday.
I know. When you said, afternoon, I was like, "Wait, that's right, it is afternoon today."
I had to really remind myself, don't say good morning, don't say good morning.
Is it hard?
It just flows right off the tongue to say good morning because I usually do this in the morning. So,
No. Are your other shows in the morning also typically?
the radio show always is, but I do a coffee on the coast with the library, and that's always afternoon.
Okay. So is it easy, like, if you went to do that one in the morning, would it be hard to say it the opposite way?
It might be. It might be. And actually, I was doing another show recently, and I think I introduced it as this is Coffee with Kristen, and nope, you're watching Coffee on the Coast. They get all scrambled, right?
That's so funny. My first question for you today is, can we please hear about the symphony on Saturday?
Oh, you guys. Okay, I've got a quick photo to pull up. First of all, the entire first floor, it was like a full house. And then the symphony, it was on Valentine's Day. So there was just this little extra, I guess I wasn't expecting it, but there was just this extra good feel throughout the crowd. There are all these little pops of red, but it was a phenomenal performance. And partly I think it's because of the collaboration. So they had two formerly local kids that sang opera along with the symphony. And like when they started singing, the audience just like, oh, it was. Jason and I looked at each other like, oh my God. And then even during intermission, when I talked to others, like, this is really happening. Like in our community, we got to sit and watch that. And
Yeah.
then I talked to some of the other ladies. It's like, we know their parents were in the audience watching too. Like, didn't it just give you chills thinking of what their parents thought when that, and
Yeah,
even Teak was with us. He's like, "Hey, when we get in the car, I've got to play the Pavarotti version of what we just heard. You're going to love that too." So,
that
and then
is so cool.
that was just the first half. The second half was a former girl from Valders who played Gershwin, this
Mm.
piano concerto with them, and it was like she had no music, and it was the entire second half, and it was just, I don't know, it blew me away. I couldn't believe we got to see that.
I mean, I love that the symphony found a way to like bring these other community members in and that just to, if nothing else, to showcase the talent that exists here.
Right, right. That's the true, I don't know, astounding thing, right? Is that was all talent born and raised here in Manitowoc. Like we've got some deep, deep talent chops here.
Right. That's so cool. If you had to pick like a highlight spot, can you?
Oh, I mean, I think when the female soloist started singing, I was, oh, and then it was her brother that was also soloing, and when he sang Nessun Dorma, I mean, the whole audience. I think at that point, when he finished, the audience got to their feet and gave him a standing ovation.
Really? Just because they're like compelled to do it.
I mean, just because it felt so good, because you could tell that was a wow moment.
Yeah,
People were just so, I think, impressed by having that experience.
I love that so much. I think, do you have a picture of you and Jason and Teak at the show? Because
I
it's so cute.
do. I do.
Look at you, even you've got the, fancy hat on even for Valentine's Day. Teak was very dapper also. Did he have a suit on or a suit with jeans?
He did. He had like a vest and a suit coat and then his top hat. Jason laughed. He said, I feel like I'm accompanied by people from different eras.
Is, Teak trying to channel Jason's styling?
You know what? It's kind of interesting because there's a little bit of that going on. Like they each have a pinstripe suit, but they're
Yeah,
each doing it so differently and unique to them.
yeah. That's so fun. What an incredible experience. So, I mean, I don't know how many of our watchers have, like, gone, but one of the really cool things about being there on a symphony night, as an example, is just getting to see all the other community members that are there,
Right. Right.
and just being able like, when you had your picture up of the screen, which first of all, just, like, the lighting and everything looks like, yeah, I wanna be there on Valentine's Day, but, like, I just immediately noticed our friend Susan Murtaugh,
Oh, yes.
and I can
You're
see Chris
right.
Cornelli.
You're right.
right? And is all the way on the bottom left. I lost the name.
Oh,
Is this our
Miller.
from the Japanese trip?
Jim Miller's.
Yes, Jim Miller. Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So I just like, "Oh, look at that face. Oh, wait, I know that person. Oh," just like there's something so fun and social about also seeing friends and community members there on a night like that.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And a number of people afterwards were like, "This is the best one I've seen." And I kind of felt that way too, but how is that possible? Because I've seen so many good ones. So I don't know if it's always gonna be just the most recent one is the best, but,
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't alone in that feeling.
I mean, as humans, we're a bit short-sighted, right? We have memory for what just happened and not so many more. It's probably why we, or some people, I should say, go through childbirth more than once, right? Um, but just what an incredible thing. And again, just, hopefully inspiring somebody to go try it. If you've never gone, go check it out.
Yeah, and it's so relaxed. Like, even in the program, it says, "What's the appropriate way to react?" And then it says, "Scoff." There's no appropriate way. If something moves you, go ahead and clap. Go ahead and cheer. It used to be in the old days, you had to like, just wait until the whole end of the movement and then you could applaud. Um, but the music director was saying, in the original days when these scores were conducted, that's not how it was. You didn't have to just sit politely, like it was all let it out. Oh, hey, look at
Yeah, I missed you for a second there.
that. So tell me about your Valentine's Day. I had to look a couple of times at this picture because at first I thought they looked delicious, and then I'm like, wait, I think they're wood. Do not eat.
You would not want to eat these. They are in fact wood. I had a great weekend. I had Galentine's weekend. So every year my mom and her two sisters and my sister and my cousin go away on a weekend. It's been a long-standing tradition. There we are. And so this weekend was Galentine's, and we just went down to Sheboygan. But we took in a play, we went out for dinner, we made meals together, we did that little arts and craft project with the hearts. We watched movies and it just was and sat outside. It was so beautiful this weekend.
Ah, I'm so glad that you had such a good time,
Yeah.
and that the weather cooperated. So each one of you did one of these?
Yeah, so we, kind of put a little goodie bucket together for each one of us. I had like crossword puzzles and some chocolates and some popcorn for when we were watching a movie, and then this little wood project. So we had paints along, and we just like hung out around the table and talked and painted, and it was just really fun, simple
Aw,
but fun.
that makes me wanna say this.
Oh, I love that you were able to snap that from the show last week. That is ever wondered if Kristin and Tina is for real, that perfectly captures it all.
Ah, I love it.
When we get together, it's always lovely.
So what show did you guys see?
We, saw the show, the play where things go wrong, or the play that everything goes wrong, something like that. And so, like, through it's a play within a play. It's like a murder mystery play within the play. And, at first it's like, well, that person just dropped that thing, or that thing just fell off the wall, or, what is happening? But as the show goes on, you kind of get this idea that like it's overdone about all the things that go wrong. So at certain parts, the set was falling apart and the actors are playing around with it. And the sound table is all of a sudden playing a role because the other, one of the other actors, got knocked out. And so they have to like fill in, and just, it was really cute and really funny. And the other funny thing is my cousin Nicole ended up knowing one of the guys. She works with one of the guys that was in the show, and she didn't know that before we got there. So there was even just this, again, fun personal connection that she never intended or had any idea about.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like,
And it's not often that you get to go and see an adult show, is it?
yeah, right. Yes. So it was really cute. The Sheboygan Theater Company put the show on, but it was hosted at Horace Mann Middle School, which just has this great kind of old school, like pit style. It reminded me of like a pit that you would sit in college, just the chairs are very angled down. And then there's this really cool open kind of stage in the bottom. But I would definitely go again. The tickets were I think it was $25 for the tickets. So, you know, for a night out, pretty reasonable.
So it's interesting talking about theater. When I first met Jason, we were both involved in theater, and I was like, I saw this great show in Sheboygan, and it was called Round and Round the Garden, and one of the characters was a vet, and he'd come out and he was always looking for this cat, and he'd be like, puss, puss, here, puss, puss, and every time he came on stage, he would have like, more and more bandages around his fingers until like by the end of the show, all of his fingers were covered in bandages. And I was like, I don't know if you ever saw that show, Jason, but it was so good. And that character is my favorite. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, it was really good. He's like, well, that was me. I'm like, what? And so it was like a year before we met, I had seen him in a show and really loved his character.
What? That's so crazy. What a cool story.
I know. I thought he was pulling my leg, and then he like had the program. So I'm like, oh, no kidding. That was you.
Yeah. The universe was already preparing you for what was to come.
Right.
Yeah. That is funny. That is really funny.
Hey, did we miss the performance date of this already? Oh no, it's this weekend.
No, I'm so glad you brought this up. We actually just talked about my daughter Grace is up at Lincoln. She's got friends in the show. So we are just talking about it. Yes, 9 to 5 is this weekend. This is kind of a spinoff of the Dolly Parton 9 to 5 movie and song. So Lincoln has plays up at their theater at the high school, 7 o'clock on Friday, 7 o'clock on Saturday, and then 2 o'clock on Sunday. The ticket price isn't on here, but it's very reasonable. And I will just mention right down here in the bottom corner, there is some content thing. So this has a PG-13 warning. So I would say this is probably for maybe middle school and up, maybe even high school and up, but all the more reason to grab your friends, your partner, your spouse, and go check it out.
I mean, I have not seen that movie since I was a kid, and I remember really enjoying it as a kid. But now that there's a PG-13 warning, I wonder if I wasn't even supposed to be watching it as a kid.
Yeah, or maybe it just, I mean, I do think there is an element of things that just kind of fly over your head when you're young and you don't realize what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping maybe to go up there on Saturday or Sunday afternoon and check it out.
So has Grace seen a preview? Like, has she been able to slip into a dress rehearsal?
No, I don't think she has. But the kids from Lincoln have been rehearsing a long time. I think they start in fall for this show. So go support them, go have some good laughs. I'm sure it'll be great. In the last time, at least, and I think this will be the case, they had live music. They had their own little pit up at Lincoln playing the music. And I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I mean, these are kids dipping their toes in the arts, right? And it's by exploring that we end up with like the fantastic symphony concert that we had, right? That doesn't just happen overnight. You can't just step on stage, open your mouth and sing an aria, right? You have to like be introduced to the arts, explore the arts, find your niche, and it takes support.
Yeah. And I mean, just, the kids that are playing in the pit, they probably are playing in the band or the orchestra, and they have this kind of one segment that they normally play in. And so just even for them to step over on the theater side and be able to play on cue and play, the soundtrack that goes with it and stuff is just a cool experience. And then, conversely, like the kids that have experience in theater from Treehouse, they play to a soundboard soundtrack. They don't play to live music. And so there's an attentiveness and a different feel that comes along with, I have to sing now to live music that's happening. Yeah. And so just, the exposure and the experience overall is really cool. And like the last time we went last year, they did Lightning Thief last year. Just the experience in the audience of having the live music in the auditorium compared to having a soundtrack playing or a soundboard playing music, it's a different feel. And we loved it.
That's awesome. So, oh, break a leg, kids. That's going to be great.
That's such a great thing.
Okay, this also looks like a great thing. Tell me what this is.
So I snapped this on Saturday night to send to Doug, but my mom made these almond joy bars. So it was like a brownie on the bottom, and then it had like a coconut layer that probably had sweetened condensed milk and probably some other naughty stuff in it. And then like a dark chocolate ganache on the top. Oh. And I ate far too many of these this weekend, but it's just one of those things that like every single calorie I am consuming is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, it looks so moist and delicious. I can almost taste the coconut.
And we're keeping them in the fridge, so they were like chewy and cold and just like so good. And then I really try hard to not drink coffee after, like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning just to be able to get good rest. But like, I'm like, I think I have to have a cup of coffee with this. Like, this is so good. And I still slept great. So,
And was this at night? Because it looks kind of dark. So is this like later in the day?
that is like 9:30 at night. Just having a treat. We had dinner, we had pizza and salad and that kind of stuff. And then we were watching movies and it got to be like 9:30. And I'm like, ooh, yeah.
And so you had the coffee and it didn't interrupt your sleep.
Not that night.
That's
No.
amazing.
I know. It was so good. I have no regrets about eating all of those bars that I ate. They were delicious.
Did you eat them through yesterday as well?
No, I didn't. My last indulgence was that one right there because Sunday we had to pack up and go home. And so,
Well,
yeah.
so yesterday was Fat Tuesday, and my mom and I have this tradition where we call it Hat Tuesday, and we always get together and we take a photo. So they came over yesterday and we got our annual Hat Tuesday picture, which was fun.
What else is included in Hat Tuesday?
Well, it used to be like, pre-accident, we'd usually go out to lunch and do something like that. And now I wish that your mom's brownie delectable bar there that we saw was part of the tradition. So
Got it. So treats, so you just hung out and spend time together.
we did. Yeah. And then my dad got in on the action too. I'd be remiss if I didn't share this little.
Your dad kind of wears hats all the time though, right?
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Is that a new red hat for you? I don't feel like I've seen that version of red hat on you before.
I have had it for a long time, but I often don't pull it out.
Because
I don't know. Let's see. Because I don't know. Because it's like borderline too dressy. Like I feel like you can't just put it on with a fleece or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
are you considering joining the Red Hatters?
yeah. Am I old enough? I have a hat. I could join.
You have a hat and you're a senior center member. Automatically qualify.
And purple is my favorite color. So
Yeah, purple and red go really well together.
yeah, yeah. There we go.
Is your mom a Red Hatter?
No, no. You know what? I don't know anything about being a red hatter. What can you tell us more?
I don't actually either. I was going to ask if you know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm aware of them. I know that sometimes they'll like show up as a group, like when the car ferry would sail in or
Yeah.
different things like that. But
I do think it's philanthropic. Philanthropic and fun based, right?
I'm not sure. I mean, it certainly could be. I don't know if it's like a book club where you get together and share an experience or
I will look this up when the show's over and I'll drop it in the comments just so we
yeah.
can all learn something today.
Or viewers, if you're a red hatter and or if you know more about it, let us know.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you think there's a male equivalent to the Red Hatters?
Um,
We probably need to know what it is first before we decide that.
yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I mean, because there's like a Kiwanis Club, a Lions Club. I don't know if it's in that same genre.
Can only men join the Lions Club or the
I don't think so.
I
Not
mean,
anymore.
either. Yeah, I don't think so either. That's funny.
It is.
Oh, here we go. Amber. Thank you, Amber. The Red Hat Society is an international social organization founded in 1998 in the United States for women aged 50 and beyond. It says, but now open to women of all ages.
Oh, hey now.
So, Amber,
And so, yeah, thanks, Amber. And so, as a social organization, I mean, it's just about getting together and having that connection then, I'm thinking?
I think so. That's what I'm hearing.
Kind of lovely.
Maybe we do some support work or, cheerleading when the car ferry comes in.
And I wonder if they're still active. I can't say that I've seen Red Hatters recently.
Yeah.
Okay, Amber said the society's events vary depending on the chapter, but common activities among Red Hatters include hosting tea parties, playing games, and going to movies or theater events. Oh,
Perfect. This sounds like fun.
it does.
Do
Did
you
I tell you that I recently learned how to play mahjong?
know, but tell me more.
So, I mean, it just kind of reminded me this description of the Red Hatters playing games. I could see, maybe it's bridge, maybe it's cribbage, right? But a couple of my neighbors, they play mahjong, and I've always been interested, but I only know like the computer game where you match the tiles, which turns out that's not mahjong at all. So, it's interesting because there's like an official card that has all of these different combinations that you could get. And to get mahjong, you have to get one of these combinations. And so
Mm,
it's about picking tiles, passing tiles, claiming tiles, but there are rules. There are some jokers. It was kind of complicated at first. And at first I thought, oh, I'm never going to get this. And now I love it. And now we get together from time to time and I do pretty well. I've won a number of games.
I love that. I have seen some groups of ladies playing mahjong at Jen's Java. They like set up on a table and get something to drink and they hang out. But I've heard of Bunko, which is a dice game as a neighborhood game. But I mean, you might be onto something here, Tina.
Yeah, and apparently some of the ladies I play with, they do play in other groups. I think at the senior center and maybe the yacht club and possibly like the Jen's Java teams.
That's Do you consider it to be more of like a strategy type game? Or, like when you talk about tiles and matching kind of up, I think, maybe a little bit of dominoes because the tiles remind me of dominoes.
Yeah,
But
you
there's
really
more
do have to think strategically because you're trying to get certain combinations,
yeah,
and the combination you end up going for kind of reveals itself in the initial tiles that you get.
sure.
But then that can quickly go awry, right? Like if you suddenly realize you're not getting any of the tiles that you need, and oh, maybe it's because somebody else is going for the same thing, and or you just don't have the right tiles when the tiles you need start to drop, so you can't claim them.
You don't have one designated pattern or group of tiles that you need to get. There's options and you get to choose which one am I going to go for based on that.
Exactly. And so sometimes it works to like hone in on one early on so that you know what you're going for.
Sure.
Um, but it also like if that just seems like it's not going to work out, you want to pivot. But if you pivot too late, then you run out of tiles and options.
Right. Interesting. What's the minimum number of player for Mahjong?
I think you can do two, but then you still deal in the other two and you just grab tiles
Okay.
as needed. So it's best if there's four.
Okay. So four is the ideal.
Yeah. But unlike cribbage, right? I feel like cribbage or sheephead are very social games, right? Where you can like easily talk and like keep going, right? Mahjong, at least I think maybe because it's still new to me, I have to like, concentrate, right? Like as soon as there's any extra conversation that goes astray, I completely like, oh my God, what was I doing? You have to
Yes,
really pay
that is
attention.
how I feel when I play Scrabble.
Ah,
Like I'm thinking about word combinations or options. I'm thinking about where they can go. And like there's not necessarily socializing at the table to do that. I love playing Scrabble, but there's that element of like, yeah, we're not socializing.
right, right. Yeah, it's hard to get involved in a story or it's hard to share a story when you're trying to like concentrate and figure out the pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. So Doug and I were joking last night so we mentioned a few weeks ago we were getting together for dinner, but it happened to be not when we thought. And Doug was joking last night about the girls or my mom playing cribbage, and then that maybe your mom would be in on the cribbage game. And just so you guys know, historically speaking, Diane's been the X factor around the table. So if Tina and I are behind, Diane usually steps in and kind of helps distract the boys or say something funny. And so Doug was like, yeah, but then you won't have Diane as your X factor if she's playing. So that was
That could be interesting though if we had three, because we can do
you can play
three
six handed.
pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, we can play six handed. So and my mom has this really big board we bought. We actually have played it like camping and being up north, where the cribbage board itself is like 2 feet long and it's like 18 inches wide. And you have these really big pegs, and it's just fun and it's big. And so I might have her bring that really big board so we really can like play around the table. So
Oh,
we'll see how
fun, fun. Well, so the only one that probably won't play, I mean, unequivocally, I can say he won't play,
Jason.
is Jason. But so he'll be our X factor. But
Yeah.
now whether he'll align with the boys or the girls, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he'll be like doing some song and dance he learned from the symphony or
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. Yeah.
are the Olympics still going on this weekend, or are there closing ceremonies Friday night? I can't remember.
I don't know. I've been watching them just like on YouTube, so
Mhm.
I'm not plugged into the actual real time of it.
Yeah. What's your favorite event to watch so far?
I've been watching a ton of figure skating. It just blows my mind. But then
Yeah.
I've also been like watching skeleton and luge, and like I just don't understand. It just is like so terrifying looking.
I know. So we've also been watching a lot of figure skating. We watched that last night live or like live-ish replay. And just enjoying that and loving it and just like learning too about, how are they scored and what are the intricacies of a program and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to watch something funny, Colin Yost, Saturday Night Live, did a bobsled run.
Okay, did he really? I wasn't sure if that was just a joke.
No, I mean, I'm assuming it's real. He did like an interview and they showed sections of the video and he was mic'd up and like he's like yelling as he's going down the thing. If you just want a good picture of like what it's like to be in the car and to hear about it, just go look it up and watch it.
Oh yeah. What did he say about the experience? Terrifying?
It's way faster than he like they get up to like 80 miles an hour. So you're like in what appears to be, I'm sure it's not, but it appears to be like this rickety car or this rickety little sled that you're just like laying on. Um, but yeah, he said terrifying. Way more like faster, more jostling, just like the whole thing was scary.
So, and I saw one of the runs, it was bobsled, four-man bobsled, right? And they've got like this routine where they kind of push and then the driver gets in and then the other three hop in. And I think it was the Belgian team. And so they did all that, right? The driver gets in and the other three, the next one in, just like missed his step or something, which then rippled and the other two couldn't get it. And the bobsled just kept going. Um,
So is it a two-man bobsled versus a four-man bobsled then?
oh, wait a second. So how did that go down? Did they end up getting it? I might be confusing two different clips now because it was the Belgian team, the bobsled tipped. And so thank God they have helmets on, but they literally went down the rest of the track with their heads like hitting the wall and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that doesn't sound
Yeah, no, no.
um,
But then, yeah, but then there was another clip where they kind of all tumbled out and it went down with just the one man. And so they were saying what's terrifying is the driver, where his seat is, he doesn't have access to the brakes. So like as he's going down, right, he's like driving, and then just before the end, you could see him like kind of lift himself up and like hop back so he could reach the brakes.
oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds terrifying. We were watching, I don't know what the technical term is, so I'm sorry for anybody that's a skier and is about to be offended. But basically, they're going down a huge ski jump and doing tricks in the air and then landing on two skis. And we were watching these young men do that last night and just like I wonder like how do you start doing that? And I'm sure it's just like on two skis going down a hill, but just the leap from like I'm gonna get on two skis to like I'm gonna get on two skis and go down the bunny hill, and now I'm doing double diamond and like hey, what the heck? I think I can totally do a trick shot, and then
Can I flip in
like
the air while I do this? Yeah.
land. We were just in awe last night.
Yeah, the snowboarders make me feel that same way. And I think it's almost like, they're obviously not lukewarm about their sport, right? So as a kid, they must have been introduced and loved it and embraced it, and then also have that kind of personality of more and more and more, right? Like willing to push the envelope, willing to live on the edge of danger.
Yes. On that topic, there is a young man from Kewaskum, Wisconsin, competing in the, it's like speed skating. And, if you haven't gotten to see this clip, they showed a clip of him, learning how to skate on his family's pond. His dad would clear the, oval off with their four-wheeler, and that's how he learned and started speed skating, and there's a great, like, highlight clip they showed the other night on him and his family and, like, what his path was to get to the Olympics. And I haven't kind of caught up on it in the last couple of days, but there were 4 events he was competing in, and he's won 2 gold medals, and his goal is to beat nobody's ever won 3 or more.
What?
So and he's from Wisconsin, he's from Kewaskum. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, if you search, gold medalist from Kewaskum, Wisconsin, I'm sure you can find it. If I can find it, I'll drop it in, but,
Yeah, I think his name is Jordan Stolz.
yeah, I was gonna say I knew the last name was like 5 letters starting with S and ending with a Z, but I Stoles, Spoles, Shoals. Yes. So just cheering him on because he's from our home state. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Well, if anybody knows him or knows a way to contact him once he's back from the Olympics and calm down, it would be fantastic to do a radio interview with him and just talk about his experience.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I also heard that there are some artists, including one gentleman from Michigan, that were selected out of 300 teams that applied to do like snow art at the
Oh,
Olympics.
cool.
I
Really?
know.
How did you find out about it?
I saw a post. And then I was like, "Huh, I don't, you never know if something is just AI or like some
Yeah.
slop." So then I looked it up online, I searched it through Google and stuff and found it and found that, yes, he does have a studio in Michigan. And so, hey, viewers, if you know this gentleman in Michigan, I would love to also be connected because I think it'd be amazing to interview him.
Yes. What an incredible experience to get to, go to another country and compete and just, it's a very, very small group of people that get to go and do these things. So
Yeah, can you imagine like the energy and the excitement of being at the Olympics?
yeah. Yeah, the other thing that we have talked about in our house is I said, um, I wonder how close the events are, and Doug started kind of looking it up and he's watched a little bit more. And, like sometimes they have to, like, if you were going to go watch skiing and then you're going to go watch ice skating, some of these events are like 4 to 6 hours apart from each other, meaning they're spread out all over the country of Italy. And I did not, in my mind, there's like this compound where everything is, but that isn't how it is. So, just again for them to not just compete in their sports, but to be able to travel throughout the country and see different things, so cool.
Interesting. I didn't know that. In my mind's eye, it was more of like a Disney theme park or something, right? Where everything is there and you just.
Yes, it is not that. It is
Mhm.
not that.
So if you're
So,
going to go and watch the Olympics, you have to know what sports and when and really prepare.
yes, I'm sure of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, Kristen, this has been fantastic.
So fun. Went so fast.
Thanks everybody for watching. You've been watching Coffee with Kristen and Tina. This is Kristen Odell. I'm Tina Prigge. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.